Hey, good evening, friends. Jai Shri Ram, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Welcome back to my Vedic Astrology channel, Astro Satyajit on YouTube. And today we will be discussing a very basic but a very important topic in Vedic astrology. And you would have already seen it in the title that I put in for the video, which says the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord through all 12 houses in Vedic astrology. That means today we are going to discuss about what the Lagna Lord or what the Lord of your first house in your Vedic horoscope signifies or represents, or what can be infer through the placement of this ascendant lord across all the 12 houses in your Vedic birth chart, in your D1 chart. Now, Radhe Radhe. Now, this is good evening. Now, this is extremely important, or rather, this is one of those planets that we invariably have to look where is it placed to actually talk about or to infer anything about the material journey that you are here to make in this particular lifetime. Just to give you a background, we all understand ascendant, the first house of your horoscope, friends, is basically the circumstances or the avenues or the opportunities or the challenges that are thrown to you in this particular lifetime. The ascendant defines your personality. The ascendant defines your character. The ascendant is, it also talks about your overall name and fame, okay? Overall welfare, if I have to say, in this particular lifetime. And this particular ascendant, which is lauded by any of those planets in Vedic astrology. So other than Rahu and Ketu, because there are no sign lordships being assigned to Rahu and Ketu. Okay. So all remaining 7 planets might be the lord of your ascendant or lord of your Lagna or lord of your first house, which is called Lagnesh, Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord. Now, this Lagna, okay, or this ascendant, why it is extremely critical? Because the ascendant Lord in Vedic astrology is no one but you yourself. So, the physical mortal body, I repeat, the physical mortal body is exactly represented by the planet which has the lordship of your ascendant. That means in Vedic astrology, if I have to relate any individual with a planet, it will be this planet which has the lordship of your first house in your Vedic horoscope. That's exactly you. That's you, your physical mortal self. Okay. Now this ascendant qualifies to be both a Kendra and a Trikona. Okay. So it's a quadrant as well as it's a trine house. Now, when we say quadrant houses or the Kendrasthans in Vedic astrology, we refer to the first house of the horoscope, the fourth house of the horoscope, the seventh house, and the 10th house. These are the 4 Kendrasthans or the 4 quadrants. Okay. This is also referred as the Vishnu Sthans. Now, the moment we come to the trinal houses, which is the first house, the fifth house, and the ninth house. These are the Trikon Sthans, Trikon Bhav, the trinal houses, or the Lakshmi Sthans. Now, your ascendant qualifies to be both a Vishnu and a Lakshmi Sthan simultaneously. That means this particular ascendant lord or this particular planet, which happens to be your ascendant lord, becomes invariably your Rajyogkari Graha, or the ascendant lord is the grade 1 Rajyogkari Graha for all of us. Because this particular planet has the ownership of the Lagna, has the ownership of the Ascendant. An Ascendant qualifies to be both a Kendra and a Trikon. That means it is both a Vishnu Sthan and a Lakshmi Sthan. So this planet, which has the lordship of your first house, becomes extremely beneficial or extremely critical to understand the journey that you are here to make in this material world. Okay. Now, because this Kendra, this ascendant lord or Lagna lord is you, your physical self. So, depending on the placement of this ascendant lord across the 12 houses in your Vedic horoscope defines the karma you are here to perform, or defines the focus or the efforts that you will put in this particular lifetime in this material world at a particular direction or in a particular aspect of your life, depending on where is your ascendant lord being placed in your natal chart. I hope it's clear. Okay. Now, okay, let me continue with this topic. And as I said, okay, I may be taking up questions. Okay. And however, as I said, I had introduced a small paid service. So it was a paid service for one question per participant, and it was for 510 rupees. If anyone wants me to answer a particular question in this session about their individual horoscope, okay, they may use any UPI app and make a payment of 510 rupees to my number, which is 84710 77155, and I'll take up their chart and I will answer one particular question regarding your chart in this live session itself. Okay. But however, let me carry on, continue with the topic for today, and let's see uh, if you are taking up any question during the session. I would be more than happy to answer or take, any chart or any particular question that you might have regarding your chart. Now, coming back to our topic for today, I said the Lagna Lord, the Ascendant Lord, is the physical mortal self, is exactly you. The placement of the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord across the 12 houses of the horoscope talks about many things, okay? And we will touch on certain critical aspects today. So one, I said, depending on the positioning of the ascendant lord across those 12 houses in your Vedic chart, in your D1 chart, we will be able to ascertain exactly the Lagnesh or the ascendant lord, or you, your physical self, your physical body, mortal body, is here to perform what karma in this material world. Okay. Please understand, right now we are talking about the material journey, which most of you may be more interested in initially. We all want spiritual progress. We all want to be evolved, more evolved spiritually. But the journey, the questions all begin, which are, more related to the material world. So how successful will I become in this lifetime? How much of wealth will I be able to accumulate in this lifetime? Will I have a happy married life? Will I have a successful professional career? Uh, what kind of a career I will have? What kind of a position I will, reach in this particular lifetime? Will I have a lot of real estate, or rather, will I, have my own house? Will I buy my own vehicle? And the questions are, then when? Okay. So anything usually that we are asking to an astrologer to look at in our individual charts and answer for us is basically we are checking about the material journey you or the individual is going to make in this particular janma. And this Lagna Lord becomes that defining planet which will tell us where the focus is going to be, where those efforts are going to be made, where we will be using our free will, where we will direct our physical energy in this particular Janma. Okay. Now let's start with the Lagna Lord being in the Lagna itself, or the Ascendant Lord in the Ascendant itself. Now this is, a very comfortable placement for the Ascendant Lord to be in the Ascendant. Invariably, we understand that, a planet will do really well if it's placed in its own Rashi, in its own sign. Okay. That means if the Ascendant Lord is placed in the Ascendant itself, it will give the individual an overall healthy life. It will give an overall comfortable life. I'm not talking about there'll be no ups and downs. There can't be any health concerns that you will ever encounter in this Janma. Because please understand, right now we are only focusing about the positioning of the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord in your Vedic horoscope. We are not currently looking at the kind of blessings your Ascendant Lord receives in your D1 through, maybe conjunctions with benefics, or maybe drishti of benefics, or rather benefics aspecting your Lagna Lord in the Lagna. Or is it getting afflicted because of malefics aspecting your Ascendant Lord in the Ascendant? Okay. So if your Ascendant Lord is in the Ascendant, there are couple of things that we will infer, and I will cover all of them today. So we'll cover all the houses, and I will touch on all those important aspects that you need to look at when you are looking at your Ascendant Lord placed in these 12 houses in your Vedic birth chart, which is your D1 chart. Okay. The moment you see your Ascendant Lord placed in the Ascendant, so first thing you say it's a comfortable placement because it will give you an overall comfortable life. It will give you an overall good health, name and fame, and comfortable situations and comfortable environment in this particular lifetime. So there'll be multiple opportunities and avenues that will open up in this Janma for you. Because understand, I told you your ascendant is the environment, the opportunities, or the avenues that you get in this particular lifetime. Okay. So the Ascendant Lord being placed in the Ascendant will invariably give us more opportunities in this Janma. It will give us more avenues in this Janma. And definitely we will lead a comparatively more healthier, comparatively more comfortable life if we have our Ascendant Lord placed in the Ascendant itself. Now, what else we will look at? It's one of those prerequisites, or not, if I should not say prerequisites, but it may be, uh, yeah, the prerequisite may be if you want good name and fame in this particular birth. Okay. So the first thing that you need to check or ascertain is my Ascendant Lord being comfortably placed in my birth chart or not? Okay. That's the first criteria. So I'm not saying that the Ascendant Lord, the only comfortable positioning will be in the Ascendant, but it will definitely qualify to be one of those comfortable placements for the Ascendant Lord to be placed in the Ascendant, to ensure that, that first check or that first criteria is ticked, that, okay, there are possibilities of you leading a comfortable, healthy life, and there are possibilities you being able to make good name and fame for yourself in this particular birth. Okay, that's one. The second inference that you will make is, see, the first house or the is also, it shows the kind of energy one will have. Okay, the kind of efforts one is ready to make in this particular lifetime. So the amount of energy that you will exert in any particular direction that you will choose in this particular lifetime. So if you need energy, understand the energy karka in the birth horoscope is your ascendant lord. Because if you remember, we always had discussed Mars is energy karka. Mars gives us that drive. Mars gives us that energy to do things. Okay. Mars is that executioner. Okay. Why Mars? Because Mars is the ascendant lord of the Kal Purush Kundli. Okay. So Mars actually is energy. Mars gives us that drive towards or gives us that determination for us to do things in a particular direction. Okay. That drive, we get it from Mars. Now, if we equate Mars with that drive, please understand your ascendant lord is also that planet which gives you drive to do things. So a well-placed ascendant lord in your D1 also ensures that you will make efforts in this particular janma, in this particular birth. You will exert a lot of energy, okay, towards that direction wherever your ascendant lord is placed. Currently, we are talking about the ascendant itself. But see, whenever the ascendant lord is sitting comfortable, as I said, the Lagna or the ascendant may not be the only place where it is sitting comfortable, but definitely is one of those comfortable placements. So that means this guy will be, there'll be a lot of drive this person will have. This person will be very enterprising. This person, I can put it in simple language, very hardworking. The person should be very determined, and the person will have clarity of thoughts. And from where this clarity of thoughts is coming? See, in medical astrology, the first house is also your brain, your head. And the planet which is owning that first house, when it is getting placed in the first house itself, gives you, a good brain, brain in the right place, let me put it that way. So that means there are clarity of thoughts. You exactly know what you want in this particular janma. You know which direction, to put in those efforts so that you get, your desired results, or those results that you desire gets manifested. Okay. This ascendant lord in the ascendant also opens up one more thing in our Vedic horoscope. See, the trines are extremely critical in Vedic astrology. When I say trines, 159 is what I refer to as trines or trinal houses from each other. The first house, the fifth house, and the ninth house. Now there are, four such combinations or four such trikons, I may say, in Vedic astrology. The first one being Dharma Trikon. If you have your ascendant lord in the ascendant or in the fifth house or in the ninth house, that means your ascendant lord or your physical mortal self is in the Dharma Trikon. So that means more or less you will follow the Dharma, you will be righteous, and okay, now again, we will not talk about there are always afflictions, and there are other planets which will have their influence on this position, on this placement. But if you have your ascendant lord in the first, fifth, or ninth, righteousness, dharma being most important thing. And when I say dharma, please don't relate it to the religion. Okay. Dharma means your responsibilities, your duties that you are here to perform towards your family, towards society at large. This person will make efforts and will put in a lot of energy in that direction so that the person is able to fulfill his duties. So the dharma, when I refer to, I'm talking about the duties the jatak or the jatika is here to perform in this particular janma. So again, that makes a good combination to have your ascendant lord in the ascendant itself. Okay. This is the second thing that you understand. Okay. Another thing, very critical, the ascendant lord's placement in your chart also clearly talks about the kind of image that we will be having in society. Now, I said your ascendant lord is you, your physical mortal self. And I'm saying by looking at the placement of your ascendant lord in your D1 chart, we will be able to, assess or infer the kind of image that you will have in this society. So we will be, when I'm talking about the image, yes, there's a concept in Vedic astrology, which is Arudha Lagna, Arudha of the first house or Arudha of the ascendant, which is AL. You would have seen it in different softwares. It is referred as AL. It is referred as Arudha Lagna. Arudha Lagna, the placement of the Arudha Lagna in your birth chart tells the kind of image that you will have, or how the world, how the society will perceive you in this particular janma, is also known by your ascendant lord's placement in your natal chart. Now we calculate Arudha Lagna. Again, we might have discussed it in the past. Quickly to tell you, whatever number of houses the ascendant lord moves away from the ascendant, that many number of houses we have to move from the ascendant lord's positioning, and whichever house we reach becomes your Arudha Lagna. And the exceptions are, it can't be the ascendant or the seventh house. And if it happens to be the ascendant or the seventh house, after we move that many number of houses, then we have to count 10 places away from that particular point. You can always go and look at the playlist, and you can definitely understand. I've spoken about Arudha Lagna, how we calculate, what are the exceptions as per Rishi Parashar. But my point was that the placement of your ascendant lord is telling us different things in our chart. First, it talks about the physical self will be focusing in which particular direction in this janma. So based on the house, wherever the ascendant lord is placed, that is the house where we will put in a lot of energy and efforts in this janma. That's point number one. The second, by the positioning of the ascendant lord, we will be able to understand which particular trikon we belong to. So the first house, fifth house, and ninth house, they form the dharma trikon. Similarly, the second house, sixth house, and 10th house, they form the Artha Trikon. The third house, the seventh house, and the 11th house, they form the Kama Trikon. And the fourth house, eighth house, and 12th house, they form the Moksha Trikon. So, you are here in this Janma to only follow to only discharge your duties, to complete your responsibilities, to follow Dharma. That's Dharma Trikon. Are you here to, earn money? When I say the Artha Trikon, so it is all the material things that you are here to accumulate. The second house, the sixth house, the 10th house, the material things, it maybe your wealth, the kind of job, the karmas that you will do, the kind of service that you will do, and the kind of status and honor finally that you will attain in this particular janma. So the Artha Trikon are those material houses, okay? And as I said, the houses of desires is, or the desired trikon, or the kama trikon is the third, seventh, and 11th. And I said the moksha trikon is fourth, eighth, and 12th. So that means your Lagna Lord placement is telling you where your physical body is working, in which direction, what are the core, or what is the core idea of, or what exactly the body is here to do in this particular janma, that we identify by the ascendant lord's placement in one of those trikons. As I said, the dharma trikon, the artha trikon, the kama trikon, and the moksha trikon. Another thing, the third important thing I referred to is, based on the positioning of your ascendant lord, we are calculating your Arudha Lagna. Arudha Lagna gives us a clear cut, I would say we are able to infer the kind of, uh, what we call the kind of image that we will have or that we'll be able to create for ourselves, or how the world will perceive us will be ascertained by the Arudha Lagna. Okay. Now, the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord in the Ascendant will make the Arudha Lagna to be the 10th house. That means any person who has their Ascendant Lord in the Ascendant, their Arudha Lagna will be in the 10th house of their birth chart. Okay. Now, 10th house is the house of karma. The 10th house is actually, status, honor, respect. Overall karma, we call it as karma sthan. The overall karma that we do, the kind of status we reach to, the kind of uh, work, as I said, karma, work that we perform in this particular lifetime is all ascertained from the 10th house. That means anyone who has their ascendant lord in the ascendant, their image in society will be exactly based on the kind of work they do or the kind of profession they are into. See, there are many people who will have image because of multiple reasons. Okay. Somebody, you may be known because of multiple reasons. You're very extremely rich, so you are seen as somebody who's very rich, has huge mansions and those luxury cars. You may be referred to as somebody who's very flamboyant, or uh, or maybe somebody who is very conscious about their attire, so that how that's figured out, the kind of clothes you wear. Somebody is seen as a very nice, comfortable personality. So again, those things will again involve your speech, the way you speak, the way you communicate, the way you articulate, the way you present. That will talk about your personality. So that's the image that is getting formed. However, when the ascendant lord is in the ascendant itself, because the Arudha Lagna is now your 10th house, so your image in society will be primarily based on the karma that you do, or based on the kind of profession that you are involved in. So your work will define your image, or the work will define how you are perceived. So that means the 10th house becomes extremely imperative. Okay. So to have those good yogas in your 10th house, or to have a well placed 10th house lord, again becomes extremely imperative for all those individuals who have their ascendant lord in the ascendant itself. It becomes extremely critical, right? Because now the 10th house is in focus. The kind of work that you do in your professional life, the kind of profession that you are attached in, or your actions define your image in society. Okay. So that means you have to be very careful before you do, or before you perform any act. Okay. Because if you are doing good things, if you are doing things where you want to contribute or do things for the society, maybe you want to contribute by some way or the other towards the society, that will ensure that you have a good image in society. But if you are attached to those wrong kind of actions, or maybe certain karma, which there might be people who might get into those wrong kind of karmas, and still they don't face those kind of defamations, or they don't face those kind of, I would say, uh, people, their image getting maligned. But these individuals who have their ascendant lord in the ascendant have to be extremely careful of the kind of karmas that they perform, because their actions or their karma will exactly, or will have a direct impact on the overall image that you create, or the world creates for you. So you are exactly perceived by the actions of the 10th house. So you are perceived, or your image is formed as per the actions or as per the karmas you perform. So now just imagine, just the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord's position is telling us a lot many things. So it's just not a Raj Yoga. It is just not a very good yoga. Yes, it is a good yoga for the Ascendant Lord to be in the Ascendant. I'm not taking it away, but it is giving us multiple things. It is opening up in which direction the physical body is going to exert energy, in which particular direction you are going to put in your energy, your hard work, in which direction, or what is that driving thing, or your drive is towards which direction in this janma. It is also talking about the bigger picture. So you are part of the dharma trikon, the artha trikon, the kama trikon, or the moksha trikon. Plus, the kind of image that is getting formed in society also is getting driven by the placement of this ascendant lord. Now, just imagine how critical this ascendant lord becomes in your respective horoscopes. Hello. Now, ascendant lord. Let's now look at the ascendant lord in the second house. Okay, first of all, now if the ascendant lord is in the ascendant, I said the energy is all towards things of the first. That means this person or this individual will put in a lot of efforts to get that high status, or that that name, that recognition in this lifetime. Because the first house is about that, as I said, name and fame is also to be seen. These people will also be very conscious about their health. Okay, it's not that they are just blessed with good health. Okay, that's not the key. The key is, if there are periods where they are going through a negative patch, okay, with respect to their health, they will do everything which is to be done to recover. Okay, this will also give them that energy, or their recovery rate, when they are going through, or they are going through any bad patch or those ill healths. They will have the energy to recover faster compared to others. And this is about the ascendant lord and the ascendant. And they will also be very conscious about their health, about their hygiene, and they'll also be very particular about how they present themselves. Okay, because see, finally, how you are perceived is the Arudha Lagna. That's the perception. Okay, the society will make. Yes, that's your image in society. However, what you try to project is seen by this ascendant lord's placement. So if the ascendant lord is in the ascendant, they are very, I should say that yes, very high on self-esteem. If there are afflictions to this ascendant lord, it can also give them, uh, that kind of a ego, or too much of self-belief. Okay. Yes, they are self-motivated. They are those self-motivated individuals who need not require any push or motivation from external factors. Okay. And they are like self-motivated by the virtue of the ascendant lord being the ascendant. But they need to be very careful that this self-motivation, this high self-esteem, which is good, should not end up making them to a person who has a very high ego, or maybe make them somebody who becomes very overconfident, or rather, making them an overconfident person. Because yes, overconfidence, ego can also slip in such cases where the ascendant lord is in the ascendant. Now, if the ascendant lord moves to the second house, now as we said, now this is going to the Artha Trikon, one of the Artha Trikons, which I said second house, sixth house, and 10th house. So that means the ascendant lord in the second, first of all, the energy is now getting directed towards family, towards speech, towards their eating habits, and towards money. Okay, because second house talks about the kind of money that we finally end up accumulating in this janma, or the kind of resources that we are able to accumulate, or the kind of resources that are available to us. So if somebody has their ascendant lord in the second house, which is one of the Artha Trikons, and Artha Trikona, I said, yes, the real money, the real success that people run after in in their particular Janma, this is driven by those planets in the Artha Trikon. And if the ascendant lord itself gets placed in the Artha Trikon, they will run for material success. They will run after money. They will run after, you know, uh, defeating their competition. Okay. In this particular lifetime, if they have this ascendant lord being placed in the second, sixth, or 10th house of their natal birth chart. This will also, again, if it's the second house, please understand, we will also now look at, is this second house a friendly Rashi? Is this second house, a Rashi where maybe it's a Rashi of an enemy? Just understand, if you are a Gemini ascendant, okay, and you have Mercury, which is ruling your ascendant lord for a Gemini ascendant becomes Mercury. Now, if Mercury is placed in the second house, yes, it is going to the Artha Trikon. Artha Trikon, that means you are running after those material things, okay? You will put in a lot of efforts to accumulate a lot of money and to accumulate a lot of resources for yourself. To somehow increase the net worth in this particular janma will be the focus, second house. You will use your speech, okay? However, if Mercury is now getting placed in the second house, in case of Gemini ascendant, it is reaching Cancer. Second house is ruled by Moon. Now, Mercury is perturbed, and Mercury doesn't like Moon energy at all. See, Mercury is usually friendly with all other planets, but Mercury just can't stand Moon. Moon, Mercury don't go well. Okay. I'm not saying Moon has a problem or has a major problem with Mercury. Rather, Mercury, yes, it is perturbed whenever it is in that Moon energy or whenever it is placed in Cancer. Okay. So Mercury in Cancer in the second house can also give us speech defects. So this was just an example. So every one of you will not have Gemini ascendant, but you can check it for yourselves. Anyone known to you, they will, in their early childhood at least, they will have those speech defects. They might have gone through those speech therapies, or they might have, something to do with the speech is something that they had to work on in this particular janma, if anyone has their ascendant lord placed in the second house. Okay. And if the positioning is one of those kind of where it is perturbed, as I said, similarly, if you're a Sagittarius ascendant, so you will have Jupiter as your ascendant lord, and in the second house it is Capricorn. So the Jupiter, that's your ascendant lord, gets debilitated. Again, a perturbed position, a position where Jupiter is not comfortable with that Capricorn energy at all. Capricorn is nothing but the battlefield, and the Guru finds absolutely himself out of place in the battlefield. The Guru uh, is doing great in the ashram, okay, is doing great at the king's court. So Guru, is getting exalted in the fourth house. So Jupiter is getting exalted in Cancer. Or, Jupiter is doing very well in the Lagna. okay, where the king gets exalted. So in the first house of the Kalpurush Kundli, Sun gets exalted, and two planets which receive directional strength or Digbal is Mercury and Jupiter. So again, you'll have to understand not only the houses where the energy is going to be put in that particular direction. So accumulation of wealth, increasing the net worth and the resources that are available in this janma, those becomes the focus the moment your ascendant lord reaches your second house. Plus the kind of rashi that it reaches to talks about that you know uh, you are doing some wonders with your speech. You are doing wonders because the kind of family that you are born in, because if it's a good placement, again, it will work that way. However, if it's an uncomfortable position, that means within the family, there are certain disputes that you will have to put in a lot of efforts to correct them, to, bring them in order. You'll have to put in a lot of energy to accumulate wealth. You'll have to put in a lot of energy to increase your net worth and the resources that you're able to accumulate or add up for yourself in this particular janma. And yes, if your ascendant lord is in the second house, as I said, all those material things you will run after, because the scheme now is moving from the dharma trikon to the artha trikon. And now if I talk about the image that you will have for yourself, the moment your lagna lord is in the second house, your arudha lagna happens to be now your third house. Okay. Now, third house is about, again, correspondence, communication, that talks about your, younger siblings, your neighbors, your hobbies, short distance travel. It's the parakram sthan, so the risk appetite, the courage that you have. So now, actions of the third house, that will play a critical role in defining your image that gets formed, or defining how the world will now perceive you. Okay. Because now the Arudha Lagna is in the third. So the kind of risks that you will take, the kind of courage that you will display or not display. So if you are, or the kind of risks that you will take in this particular life, or the kind of overall efforts that you will put in, because this is parakram sthan also, so this shows a lot of efforts and struggles. Okay, this also shows correspondence, as I said, so all kind of communication. So this is an house which becomes extremely critical for authors, publishers, singers, maybe sports person, and primarily sports people who use their hands to play that particular sport. Okay, because the third house also talks about your hands. Now that means by just the positioning of the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord, we are again checking which direction the physical body is going to put in all their energy. Where will you exert maximum amount of energy? What is the bigger scheme? So you're part of that Dharma Trikon clan, or the Artha Trikon clan, or the Kama Trikon clan, or the Moksha Trikon clan. Plus, this is also defining the kind of image that gets formed, or how the world perceives also is, just dependent on the placement and positioning of your Lagna Lord within your D1 chart. Okay. Now, the Ascendant Lord in the third house. Now, what it shows? Now it shows that you are a person who will be extremely hardworking, who's always just putting in a lot of hard work, a lot of efforts in any task that you take up. Okay, that's good. It may also show initial struggles in your early life. Okay, some amount of time you take, at least the age of 28 is the age of maturity of Mars, and Mars being the one of the major karakas of the third house. So if the ascendant lord is in the third, there's a role that Mars placement will have in your particular chart. Plus, you will put in a lot of energy towards your younger siblings. Okay. So, in all probabilities, a person who has their ascendant lord in the third house, the probability of they having younger siblings increases. They will have some hobby, okay, because hobbies are also seen from the third house. Those are those, um, I would say, the hobbies, the likings, or certain skills that you have or you acquire. Please understand, when we talk about creativity, when we talk about creative intelligence, creators, the skillful people, we refer to the fifth house. Now, why fifth house? Because fifth house is third from the third. Again, bhavat bhavam. So that means the base of that skill, you know, or that seed is planted in the third, and then we reap the benefits in the fifth. Okay. So that means the hobbies of the third, they become skills in the fifth. So somebody will have a hobby to act. And if there are other factors supporting, yes, these are the ones who will make it to become an artist or an actor. So the fifth house, yes, we'll have to. But again, understand that, your ascendant lord's positioning in the third house is talking about or making that third house energy as extremely prominent in one's life. One. Plus, now the bigger picture or the bigger scheme now is, now you're not part of the dharma clan, you're not part of the artha clan, you are part of the kama clan. So you have a lot of desires, and you will be running after fulfilling or working towards fulfillment of a lot of desires in this particular lifetime. If you're born with your ascendant lord in any of those three houses which form part of the kama trikon, which is the third house, the seventh house, or the 11th house. Okay. And if your ascendant lord is in the third, now if I have to calculate your Arudha Lagna, so now you will exactly reach, the right house, which is now getting linked. Why? Because if your ascendant lord is in the third, if we move three places away, so we reach the fifth house. Now your Arudha Lagna happens to be your fifth house. Now, why there's a it's a very strong prominent placement for the ascendant lord to be placed in the third house. Why? Because now your physical self, the actual you are focusing on the third house because you've been born with the ascendant lord being placed in the third house. Now, how the world perceives you, the kind of image that gets formed for you in society is your fifth house. Okay. The skills or the creativity that you display. Okay. The creative intelligence, as I said, your intelligence, overall intelligence also to be seen from the fifth. Now, if your Arudha Lagna is fifth and it's third from the third, so now the Bhavat Bhavam is telling us that there is a close connection any which ways between the third and the fifth house of our natal chart, because the seed gets sown or planted in the third, and we reap the benefits of that seed in the fifth. I told you, because third from third is nothing but the fifth house. So these people are very, those strong personalities, one, because of the kind of efforts, and they will never give up. You know, giving up doesn't exist in their dictionary if you have your ascendant lord in the third house. They'll keep on making efforts, numerous efforts. Okay. You just can't imagine the kind of efforts, the kind of hard work that they will put in any direction that they choose. Plus, it also gives them a lot of help that if they have hobbies, okay, and they primarily are those individuals who will have certain prominent hobbies, likings, okay, that's why they have been born with the ascendant lord in the third, okay. These hobbies, more or less, will be able to become one of their skills. Okay. And that particular hobby, which becomes a skill, will have a very, I would say, significant say in the kind of image that gets formed about these people in society. So that means if this, if it's a, good placement, understand, when I say good placement, just for example, if you're a Scorpio Lagna, Scorpio ascendant individual, Mars is you, your physical mortal self, because Mars is a ascendant lord in case you are a Scorpio ascendant individual. Now, Mars, in the case of a Scorpio ascendant individual being placed in the third house is Capricorn for Scorpio ascendants. So now Mars, the ascendant lord, is exalted in the third house. You know, maybe it will show a lot of efforts, a lot of struggle the person will go through. But this also ensures that, this person, through their efforts, will be able to really, you know, make it big. When I say big, they'll be able to make a prominent or a significant image about themselves in society. See, there are 8.5 billion people across the world. Okay. And not everyone is fortunate in this or in their particular janma or in this particular janma of ours, that we will, through our karma, through our actions, uh, we will be able to create an image. See, everyone will have an image, everyone is perceived. How strong is that image, good or bad, makes you somebody who's famous or makes you somebody, you know, who gets defamed. Now, to get famous or to get defamed, in both cases, it makes you out of the ordinary. Okay. Because as I said, billions of people, they're doing their regular karma. Maybe they're carrying out their regular duties and responsibilities they're here to perform towards their family, towards the society, or maybe at least towards the family. And maybe they are just people in the crowd and they are not able to become those prominent personalities in this particular lifetime. But that's what I was coming to. These people who have their ascendant lord in the third house, and if it's a healthy placement, it's a strong placement, then these people, through their efforts, will be able to become creators, will be able to become somebody who will be able to give, or they'll have a lot of things that they will create. Fifth house is creation, that's why we say creativity. Okay, fifth house is also for progeny, so for children also we look at fifth house. That's also something that we create. Okay, and we bring in this world. So these are those entrepreneurs, those creators, those inventors who will have such strong positionings of their ascendant lord in the third house, and maybe they will have a very strong Arudha Lagna also. That means their fifth house lord will also be somewhere very comfortably, strongly disposed in their chart. They will have those right aspects of benefics, maybe on their third house, on their fifth house. I'm doing really good. Uh, Okay, Aries ascendant Mars in 10th Capricorn conjunction with Venus and Saturn. This is, you know, extremely grade one Raj Yoga, grade one Kuldeepak Yoga, because your ascendant Lord Mars is exalted in the 10th house. It is having directional strength, Digbala in the 10th house. It is in its Rashi of exaltation. So it is not just a Ruchak Mahapurush Raj Yoga, but it also is getting, there's a, strong combination. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. The 10th Lord Saturn also is in the 10th house, again, a very big Raj Yoga. The Lagna Lord in the 10th, the 10th Lord in the 10th, one sitting in its Rashi of exaltation, one sitting in its own Rashi, along with the second house Lord and seventh house Lord Venus. So this particular ID, videos, VD, who, if you have this combination, it's God's grace. God bless you. This is a beautiful, beautiful, uh, I would say, combination to be born with. God bless you. And understand, if your Lagna Lord is in the 10th house, now look at where your Arudha Lagna will be. Now, I said, if the Lagna Lord has moved to the 10th house, we'll calculate 10 houses from it. So we'll reach the 7th house of the horoscope. Okay. Now, I was very clear that the Lagna in the 7th house can't be the Arudha Lagna. So we have to again count 10 places from it. So we will reach the 4th house, videos VD. I don't get the name, but through the chat, I'm referring. So now just imagine your Arudha Lagna happens to be your 4th house. And there is an exalted planet in the 7th house from the Arudha, which is your Lagna Lord, exalted Mars in the 10th house, which is bang opposite your Arudha Lagna. There is a planet in its own Rashi, Saturn sitting bang opposite your Arudha Lagna. And the 10th house, if it is status, honor, respect, bhavat bhavam, remember, the 10th from the 10th becomes your 7th house. So that 7th house Lord, Venus is also in the 10th with the 10th house Lord, with the Lagna Lord. So this is invariably, you know, a chart of somebody who will make it very big. A very, you will make it very big in this Janma. It will give you immense name in your career, ultra successful in this material world is the combination for an Aries ascendant who has Mars in the 10th house and that too conjunct with Venus and Saturn. So God bless you. Yeah, Purva, I am taking those questions. And the same paid services are available, wherein that one question is 510 rupees per chart. And people can use any of the UPI apps and make a payment to my number, which is 84710 I just messaged it on the chat window. And if anyone wants to avail that service, yes, I would be able to take up that one question service, one uh, question paid service. Now, let's now bring in this ascendant lord in the 4th house. Now, 4th house is the mother, 4th house is overall society, people at large. 4th house is the real estate, okay, the vehicles, the houses, the properties. 4th house is also now understand. 4th house becomes part of the moksha trikon. Okay, 4th, 8th, and 12th, I told you, is part of the moksha trikon. So usually how people relate the 4th house is that if the ascendant lord is in the 4th, now your major plan is not part of that following your dharma, which is the dharma trikon 159. It is not also running after the artha, which is the artha trikon 2, 6, and 10. It's not also the kama trikon, which is fulfillment of your desires and wishes, which is 3rd, 7th, and 11th. But now, if you are here to fulfill moksha, now understand when I say that moksha becomes your major dharma. So, because now your ascendant lord is in the one of the moksha trikons, the 4th house. So usually people will think that these people might just work towards spiritual progress and material benefits may not be maybe alien to them, maybe not their cup of tea, but that's not exactly how it works. Somebody who is working towards spiritual progress, or somebody who's, advancing towards moksha in a particular janma, invariably they will be blessed and graced with material success for sure. Because while you are following your uh, journey towards moksha, towards liberation, somewhere you are working in harmony with your soul. Okay, I'll not complicate things and bring in the Atma Karaka right now in this example or in this discussion today. But please understand that if your ascendant lord is in the moksha trikon, the fourth, the eighth, or the 12th, people might say ascendant lord in the eighth, maybe very tough, very bad, okay, ill placed Lagna lord, eighth house, the dreaded house, struggles, and all bad things, all that you can think of. 12th house, the house of expenditure, the house of isolation, okay, overall Vayasthan. But please understand that if it's a well placed, again, when I'm using the word well placed, you'll have to look at the relationship between the lots of the first house and the fourth house in your respective horoscope. Okay. Which planet gets to become the first lord or the ascendant lord in your case? If it is moving in one of those moksha trikons, fourth, eighth, or 12th, is it going to a Rashi of a friend? Is it coming to its own Rashi? For a Sagittarius ascendant, it is possible, right? A Sagittarius ascendant with Jupiter owning the Lagna, the ascendant also owns a fourth house. For a Gemini ascendant, the ascendant Lord Mercury is getting exalted in the fourth house in Virgo. Similarly, for Aquarius ascendant, for example, Saturn reaching the fourth house, it's coming to its best buddy's house. So Saturn coming into the Rashi of Venus. Okay, Saturn is what? Your ascendant lord, Aquarius, and Venus is the lord of your, excuse me, fourth house. Again, a great placement, a very comfortable, good placement. Now, when these good placements, as I say, we'll have to look at the Rashis and the zodiac which they are traveling to. Please also understand what is getting triggered. The moment now they are here to progress towards their journey or in their journey towards moksha, somewhere they are fulfilling the purpose or the tasks which the soul wants the sharir or the mortal cell to perform in this janma. Only then you are getting closer towards getting liberated or you are getting closer towards moksha. And if you are doing that, the Atman, the soul, which is part of the Paramatma, okay, definitely will bless that individual who is following or is, advancing in that path towards moksha. One. That means the material benefits will definitely be there. And this person will enjoy, the things of the fourth, mother's blessings, support from the mother, you know, uh, huge mansions and those real estates, those huge luxury cars and those big luxury vehicles, all that will be there. Overall sukh sthan, right? So we'll be able to get that overall sukh in this material world because the material self, the mortal self is in the fourth house. Plus, as they are progressing, spiritually, so the soul is definitely blessing them, which is giving them more material success. Plus, now understand the image, how the image works. The moment the ascendant lord is in the fourth house, we calculate the Arudha Lagna, we'll move 4 places away. We'll reach the seventh house. Now, the seventh house and the Lagna cannot be the Arudha Lagna. So, we'll again count 10 places from the seventh. We reach the fourth house. Now, these are those blessed or lucky individuals who have their ascendant lord in the same house where their Arudha Lagna also falls. Now, if it's a well-placed ascendant lord in the fourth, invariably the Arudha Lagna is also the fourth house. So they will have more opportunities and more potential to make it really big or to have, you know, a very big significant image in society, or a very big image, a very big brand gets created in society. They can be those famous people. Okay. So today we covered Lagna through the first four houses, friends. The first house, the second house, the third house, and the fourth house. And I gave you insights about how we look at which direction we are going to exert the energy, which direction we are going to work towards based on the ascendant lord's position or the placement in our natal chart, which is the trikon that uh, we are activating or is getting activated. So it's the dharma trikon 159, or the artha trikon 2610, or the kama trikon 3711, or the moksha trikon 4812. And what happens because of these trikons getting activated, plus just by the placement of the ascendant lord in different houses. We covered the first through the fourth, where the Arudha Lagna is falling and which will have an impact, or Arudha Lagna, or the impact on the Arudha Lagna and the Lord of the Arudha Lagna's placement. We'll talk about the kind of image that will get formed in society, how the world will perceive us. So we'll pause it here, friends, today, and I'll continue this. So I would request all my viewers that please do, listen to this video from the very start to this end. This sounds like a very common topic, ascendant lord through 12 houses in Vedic astrology. But I am touching on certain very subtle, or I'm touching on certain very critical aspects. At times, these get overlooked by maybe into astrology enthusiasts or learners or astrologers. And with this, I may request all my viewers to please subscribe to my channel if you're still not subscribed. If you really like my interactions, please do like my videos. Please do share it with all other astrology enthusiasts. Please share my videos in other forums and help me expand my family Astro Satyajit on YouTube. God bless you all. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Jai Shri Ram.